If someone's looking at your services page, that means they're interested, but they're not necessarily going to book. I've spent over 20 years improving websites, and I know that many practitioners lose clients on their services page, not because they aren't great at what they do, but because their services page is confusing. And so clients don't feel confident to book. In this video, I'm looking at a breastfeeding practitioner's services page. She's struggling to get bookings, and I'm going to show you what's likely stopping potential clients from taking the next step. If you'd like me to take a look at your website, click the link in the description box below, and I'll take a look and let you know if I think a review would be useful. No obligation. Let's dive in. The first thing I noticed about this website, this services page, is there's very little information at the beginning that leads a potential client to take the next step and book a session. So it says breastfeeding is the most natural way to feed our baby, not always easy. I'm here to educate you with my breastfeeding class. It's in one big long paragraph as well, which is difficult to scan, which is how people read websites. So what I would do to reassure the client that they're in the right place, that the practitioner understands what they're going through, and that they can be helped and supported with whatever issue around breastfeeding that they're encountering. So I would put something like, I can help and support you if you are concerned about breastfeeding before having your baby, if you are having any latching issues, if you're feeling any pain, if you want to know more about how to, what's that word when you express pumping. And then that is just a brief, reassuring, bulleted list, just showing that the practitioner understands what many mothers go through. So the next thing that jumps out to me about this page is that the information about the services is contained in these small acuity scheduling boxes, which makes it very difficult to read. So you've got some bullet points here, but you've got an image on the left-hand side. So there's really not much room there to read that. You have to click a button to show more information. So having the information about the sessions contained inside the acuity scheduling boxes just makes them very difficult to read. So what I would suggest you do here is take that information out of the scheduling box and put it directly onto the web page and have a proper subheading for each service and list all the information that is pertinent to that service. So what the client's going to get, how long the service is, how much it's going to cost, what they can expect, what the outcomes are going to be. Just provide that reassuring information. If we have a look at one of the services further down the page, for example, we've got the Essential Lactation Bundle, which mentions twice that this is the most purchased package, but it doesn't really give very much information on what is included in the package at all. It's just got two items which says home visit in the week after the baby is born, and then two follow-up visits, but doesn't say what's going to be included, what the practitioner and the mum will do together, what they'll learn, and what the outcomes will be. What happens when there's a lack of information on a services page is that the potential client then has a choice of two things. They can either take that extra step of contacting you and asking you for the information that they need in order to feel confident before they book, but that's going to take time and effort. Or alternatively, they will leave your website without booking and they'll find another practitioner that has all that information that they need in order to book. So it's a really good idea to make sure all the information is there, because what you're doing is reassuring the client that you've thought of everything, that you've considered their needs, and that you're providing them with all the information they need to confidently book with you. The next thing I want to highlight on this page is some of the language. So this is a breastfeeding services website. It sometimes talks about lactation. It sometimes talks about prenatal breastfeeding and postpartum. And that's quite practitioner level language. A lot of mothers will understand that language, but some of them won't, especially if English is not their first language. So, as much as possible, simplify the language. It still needs to mean the same thing. But for example, you could use before your baby is born instead of prenatal, or after your baby is born instead of postpartum, and breastfeeding instead of lactation. Another thing I want to point out is just some issues around other areas where clarity is needed. So, for example, this virtual prenatal breastfeeding class. Now, because this is class, in my mind, I'm imagining that to be a group session, not a one on one session. But it's $150. It says it's for an hour. So that doesn't sound like a group class price. I might be wrong, but that lack of clarity there is another reason why somebody may not book, because they're not sure whether it's a class, whether it's a one-to-one. And again, they don't have the time to write you an email to find out. So, in summary, the biggest priorities for this page, what's going to make the biggest difference, is to take the information about the individual services out of the acuity scheduling boxes, put them directly onto the web page where you can have a brief introduction and you can add all the information, and it's not in this small little box that's difficult to read and that you have to scroll up and down to get all the information. The next priority for this web page would be to have a clear introduction to this page, just showing that the practitioner understands what mothers and mothers to be are going through, what their concerns are, so the mothers really feel seen and understood. And then I think the third biggest priority is to look at the language and make it as simple as possible so as many people as possible can understand it. So here's how the web page could look with different messaging and structure. It's clearly not a designed web page, but this is just to show you how the changes could look. So clear heading, breastfeeding support services, a subheading when you're preparing for your baby or struggling with feeding. So that really positions what the practitioner helps with. Then some information about the kinds of things that mothers worry about, whether their baby is latching, if there's enough milk, pain, discomfort, and pumping. And again, this shows the practitioner knows the kind of issues that mothers have to deal with. Because there are 6 different services, you could have something like a start here section, which just makes it clear that, for example, if you're still pregnant, this is going to be the best service for you. If you have had your baby but you're struggling, this is the best service for you. And then the services are clearly laid out, they're easy to read, clear bullet points about what is included in each session. I haven't put the price on here, but definitely need to put the price on there. And the headings are very clear before your baby arrives, and if you have concerns after your baby arrives. So this is just a quick page that I put together to show you the difference clear messaging, clarity, and good structure can make to a web page. And it really does make all the difference in helping somebody decide whether to book a session with you or not. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know in the comments section below.